Greetings, everybody. It's Jim. Hopefully, this is going to be a one-take video from here on out, only because I don't have the time to go through it. Usually, it's the most time-inductive thing that I have in my videos because I constantly try to redo them and make them perfect. I'm never satisfied. 10-minute video can take me 3 hours, and it's a little bit crazy, but I'm trying to get better at it, but I have to be better here because I'm going to be very busy as of right now towards this weekend and beyond because as you know, probably, I do some work for Columbia Games and a few other game companies. Definitely the majority Columbia Games, and I'm working on one of their Kickstarters right now, which is absolutely going to be huge. You know them from their wargaming side of things, likely with the Columbia Block War Games, of which I've done numerous videos on. But also, they have a role-playing line, and after decades, because they normally put their material out in 3-ring binders because they add more material, but they are finally coming out with hardbacks, and it's going to be absolutely. And I know that there's not a lot of overlap between war gamers and role players, but the link is down below if you want to look at it or have a friend that definitely should be looking at this material for the quality. But anyway, today I wanted to make sure I get this video out because I just got done playing it. I want to be talking to you about my review of Black Hole for metagaming. So thank you for your patience there to listen to me spiel there. Now I did take the time though to put this on Tabletop Simulator. So by all means, if you have the game, go ahead and get on it. It's all going to be there. I got the link down below. And if you do like it, of course, please like and subscribe. It helps me, and I'll definitely help you with things like this in the future. So anyway, here's Black Hole. The idea of this game, it's a nice long map, right? The idea of this game is you are fighting for dominance over the base, or there's an artifact actually that's here, but it's in the middle of a donut-shaped asteroid. They really come out with so many ideas that are so interesting and innovative because I think, with war games, you can definitely get same old after a while, and they have to spice it up. So this is really interesting. It really comes down to the map. So like I said, there's a minor black hole in the middle of this asteroid that's shaped like a donut. So how does that affect gameplay? Well, let's look at the map and we can get an idea. So here we have A1, A2, and A3, right? Well, the thing is, this piece that's here on A1 is also here on this A1 because it wraps around. And of course, it doesn't wrap around just left to right. It wraps around top to bottom as well. So as you can see, the A's go all the way down here, and the N and the ones go all the way across, and the A's come up here. And of course, the ones go all the way across, all up here. So it's totally wrapped. You come off one end, you go off the other. Where does this matter? It really matters as far as, there's a lot of, you can get a little bit confused, but there are also missiles that fly around here, and that gets pretty crazy. So anyway, the game is pretty basic though. The basic game anyway. You got your forces. You got 40 points of attack forces. Of course, the attack points. The first number is the attack point. The middle number is the defense rating, and the last number is the movement. By the way, all the units have a defensive rating of 1. They all do. Doesn't matter what they are. The only time that differs is if they're on a base, which doubles their defense, or in a crater, which doubles their defense. And it does matter. It does matter. It's just that these are very heavy weapons that are getting shot at people, and there is going to be a lot of damage done. So there's a lot of taking off of the unit. But so basically, you get 40 points of units, and the idea is get on this base, and if you can spend a whole turn on the base, you get a number of points, 10 to 20, depending on what unit is there. And that's all there is to it. Now, when it comes to movement, other than what I've just shown you about wrapping around, basically, nothing stops your progress. It's all 1 point except for one thing. Moving up here or down is 2 points on the outside area, and that's what this lighter shade is. The inner shade is actually the inside of the donut, okay? And there's going to be another special rule about moving there. But moving normally, and it doesn't matter if these mountains are in the way or the craters in the way, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect your movement points. If you're on the outside and you're moving up or south, to the map, it's going to cost you 2 points. On the inside, it only costs you 1. Now, on the inside of the map, you can actually move quite further than this by jumping because you are on the inside ring. You can just go from one point to the other just by a jump. So you can actually, even though this heavy laser can only move 2, you can move much more than that just by jumping and making it across. Of course, the problem with that is there is a jump table right over here, and you know, you will deviate. So on a 1, you stick it. Okay, that's what TH means. On a 2, 3, 4, 5, that's how many rings you've deviated. And a 6 means you get an X result means you get sucked up by the black hole. So there's always a big risk. Okay, it's a 1 in 6 chance you're just going to be gone. But basically, if I jump from here and I got a 3R result, that means I roll a die. Let's see here. Do I even have one out here? Oh, yes, I will remember to put the dice in before I upload this to the tabletop simulator. You guys will probably have your own. You know how to get your own dice and stuff, but I'll put some. But basically, you roll a die, and of course, it's three in the direction that you roll. So if we rolled a 3, straight up would be 1. This way would be 2, and then 1, 2, 3. Because I would saying a 3 ring. This was a 3 ring example. That's where you would deviate. Okay, simple as that. If you land on another person, then they kind of say, okay, move off of there, and that's just by 1. Okay. So what else is there? Well, as far as firing goes, let's get another unit in here. We'll get a missile here. So I just want to talk to you about combat a little bit. So here we have a medium-sized HEV. Oh, I'm sorry, a missile HEV, which is a heavy. Basically, when lasers shoot, basically on your turn, you could just shoot lasers like any normal attack. Simple enough. And it is a ratio. So this would be 6 to 1. This laser to this heavy would be 6 to 1. And that, like I said, these things are not meant to stay. They are meant to, for the most part, get wiped out. So, and you can get disrupted, which is a D, which means you just flip it over for a turn. But that's it. Now, on the opposite end, when it comes to missiles, because that's what L stands for, laser. And there's a light, there's a medium, and heavy. We're looking at heavies right now. But for the missiles, basically you can have any. You have these kind of missiles, light missiles, which you have medium missiles, and you have heavy missiles. And it's just based off your attack points. You can have 3 of these. 1 of these and 1 of these, or just 1 of these in general. Just 6 points. Since you have 6 points here, 6 points worth of missiles. And this is how the missiles work. All right, they have an arrow, so the facing does matter, but they just kind of move a movement of 6 points when they're launched. So, and that other number is actually defense, not movement, because these missiles can get attacked too, because they are rather nasty. So basically, 1, 2, 3 to turn. 4, 5, it would hit just like a normal. Then it would be just like a normal hit. So you might be saying, well, why not just use a laser? What's the point of the missiles, right? Well, that's only because, because when you move your complete 6 and you don't hit somebody, then what happens is on your next turn it goes ballistic and goes 20 spaces. All right, so you can shoot these to where you don't want your enemy to be, because the thing is they will get to move before, if you target them. So it's really not to hit. It's only maybe a disrupted unit that might be different. But here we go, 1, 2, and of course this is the same over here, right? So you move it over. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, 16, and move over here. 17, and then 18, and then we move over here. 19, 20, and then it explodes. And when it explodes, it does full damage on its hex and half damage on the hexes around it. So you don't have to exactly be perfect. All right, so that's a nice thing. And also, by the way, when we were shooting lasers earlier with this guy, the range is actually up to 18 hexes, as long as you can see it, see the enemy. All right. And basically it's if you are within like 6 hexes, I think you double the value of the hit, I believe. Let's see here. Here it is. 1 to 6, the effect is doubled. 7 to 12 has no effect. It's just your regular. And if you're shooting from 13 to 18, it's half damage. And that's where you get into where there might be a one-on-one, because if we look at the strength values of the lights, as we said, there's a missile version and a laser version of all these, and they only have a strength of 2. So that would turn it into one. So there's where some one-to-ones actually would happen. But for the most part, things are getting destroyed. Now, when you first land on this, you can land up to 4 units a turn. Okay, and you start the game with 4 units landed. And what you do is you also just figure out for deviation, but you figure out where you want to be, where you want to land your people. And the thing is, though, you got to be careful because it's going to the first thing is that you're going to deviate a little bit more the closer you are to the middle section of the map. Okay, if you're all the way out here, you're not going to hardly deviate at all. Okay, but if the closer you get, you might deviate 2 or even 3, or get sucked up into the black hole. If you actually try to land on the inner ring from the outer ring, you really stand a good chance of getting sucked up into the black hole. So there's all kinds of movement things, but basically it'll be enough of a variance where you say where you want your guys to be, and it switches things up, so it's not like, okay, I play this way every time, right? But for the most part, what I liked about this is just the map itself, and it does play pretty quick. The main scenario is a little bit dry. You end up with a lot of guys trying to land on, all the bases and stuff, and they're just shooting each other from the base. But it is only a 10-turn game, so that's okay. It's just that you're going to blow up people a lot, and there's going to be a little bit of, when do I want to put all my forces out? Because you don't want to wait too long, because you do score if they're on a base, and there's only 10 turns in the game. So how long are you going to wait for bring all your forces out? So it is a little bit of, a turkey shoot at first, because it is so easy to hit people. And missiles affect an entire stack. So that's another thing. So if you got a whole bunch of guys scoring points on a base all in one stack, mind you, their defense is doubled. But if a missile actually makes it to that, bluey, that could be something to think about too. Overall, though, guys, I really think this is a fun game. I'm sure there's other scenarios involved. You can definitely make your own, and I've been really motivated to create my own little micro game. I've been doing that wanting to do that since I've been cracking all these open. But this one definitely says, yeah, I can do it. It doesn't have to be, because it's not difficult. It's easy to read, unlike that one Holy War that I did a review on. That I thought it had some potential, and it still does, but it was just that rule book, man. This one was a lot easier to read. By all means, everybody, get this game if you can. It's cheap too. All the other meta games are like really expensive, and this one is only like 10-15 bucks at most. So before they hear about this in my review, grab it. It's fun. It will definitely be, you have a little piece of history, and it's only like 10 to 15 bucks. By all means, grab Black Hole, and I will see you guys next video.